Then just comes your work program. So, essentially, what I'm going to do over those 4 weeks. And that can be totally individual to you guys. 100% on your goals. All I'm doing for those grade 2s, rotation, game, and game. Reference those games straight out of the Fundamental Motor Skills magazine or book that has been kicking around for a long, long time.
It is gold. It's so much
yep. And Bernie is actually one of the implementers of it. So that's why I've been really lucky to have been here.
So, we didn't get 1 cent for it.
I had I'm not sure, was this you, Mitch, that did this for me? Or yeah, I had 2 copies, so I ripped one up, and I got a lovely work experience student named Mitch who laminated every one for me. So again, I don't have to carry the book around. I just go, all right, I need page 49, pull it out of here, work with it. My grade 2s, I have 6 of them next year. So the page will come out, I'll need it once, learn the game, put it back in, and away we go. When we've got 2 PE teachers, we'll have 2 groups going. Because at Leopold, because we've got lots of kids now, we team teach all our classes. So we have 2 PE teachers running, 2 groups, and then we just swap over those activities. So that works really well. Then essentially on the bottom of that, resources, references, I have my 4 assessment items. Children's show, correct stance, eyes on target, blah, blah, blah. A reference where they're at, middle, above or below. Children can, and a personal, interpersonal one, which was put in there because I wanted to put data on a child that I wanted to mark down because he was not performing well. In class, so that's where that came into context as well. The differentiation success criteria is just really terming it up. So if I've got weaker kids in my group, what am I going to be doing for them? If I've got advanced kids in my group, what am I going to do for them? How are the kids going to know what's successful? A lot of that stuff can actually, I know looking at it now and looking into people's eyes and go, well, this is a lot of work. But a lot of it stays in play. If I'm teaching fundamental motor skills, pretty much the AusVals are going to stay in play. So for grade 2s, moving our body, they're going to be staying where they are. What it looks like, as a teacher, you need to know what it's going to look like. What are you actually looking for in the kids? The lessons are going to let them flow. And it's a document where you can scribble it up, rip it up, cross it out, do whatever, come back and edit it in your planning day, because then you've got it as a file. What I'm looking for in my Google Drive now is that I'm going to bring up a data bank across the year of all these activities. So when 2015 comes along, I just edit my files. And I go, right, well this worked, this didn't work, let's bring this in. Because it's like baking a chocolate cake. When you've got the grade 1s there, it's the same mixture, it's the same concepts. What we see in the grade 1s today, we saw 15 years ago, they're making the same errors because it's that developmental process. All right, is there any questions on this? No.
Can I make one comment? I'd just like to reinforce one of the things that Andy's done. That how many of you teach in your Prep 1-2 teach the overhand throw at some stage? How many of you in 10 years' time will probably still at some stage in Prep 1-2 be teaching the overhand throw? Yeah. So the activities you use may change, the pieces of equipment that come out through RH Sports or somewhere may change, but you're still going to teach the throw. And what Andy's done is what I don't see a lot of teachers do, that they don't actually define VELs, AusVELs. Some of you remember curriculum standards framework, where it said develop a range of manipulative skills. And what AusVELs and the Australian curriculum doesn't do is actually define. They could be a little bit more prescriptive for us at primary school and say every kid should learn how to do the overhand throw. But because you won't be able to do all of the motor skills, I doubt, in the time you have, what Andy's done is he said of those skills in the movement or locomotor or manipulative, overhand throw is one of them he's going to do. And I guess most of you at some stage would. So if you actually invest your time, as Andy has now, in 10 years' time, you might be using slightly different activities and slightly different equipment, but you're still going to be teaching overhand throw. And so, yeah, like I said, time invested, and it is really important for you to define that, because the research would suggest, so I'd have to bring that in, that if you've clearly defined what you're teaching, you're not just teaching locomotor skills, but you're teaching the overhand throw, and within the overhand throw, Andy he's teaching the arm straight and back. If you've identified that as one of the things you're teaching, you'll probably look at your kids to see, did their arms go back? So it's really, the time invested there, I think, is really worth it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'll
Brent.
move that. Okay, I just wanted to quickly show you two if this works. I made a video where, just hold that for a sec. Now, there's no, don't worry about the sound, there's no music to it. So basically, this is a correct throw by a 23-year-old, this is my son. And so what I did was just did a comparison, and then I got a whole lot of kids from school, and I've done a video from like preschool up to about grade 5 or 6. So if you just have a look at this, and this is what you're looking at when you're teaching the throw, and I think I might have put it in slow motion, I can't remember. Oh, I think I have. I don't know how I did that. But again, so you're looking at the arm forward, eyes forward, the arm back, and you're looking here for the follow through. Okay? So, because he's the son of a PE teacher who can throw, okay. Thank you very much. I've done my job. Anyway, and then this girl is in prep. So you can see lots and lots of areas. And
Least expected back.
but you can see there's some skills there. She's looking forward eventually when she lets it go. This little boy's in grade 1, and look at how good his throw is already. And his mum's a PE teacher. That could be why. But he's got quite a few of the skills, not quite as much of the follow through that you'd expect at that age. The next kid is grade 1 as well, which is a bit taller, and his throw is not nearly as good. See how this, he's got the arm forward, his arm doesn't go back as far as the other one, so it stops here, and he's throwing from the shoulder, which we expect at this age. And so, okay, we're not trying to criticise them, but it's just showing the difference. This is a grade 2, a girl, and again, look at the shoulder drop. She's not as strong, and see how she's rotated to follow through. She actually hasn't followed through, but she's spun around that way. So this is another grade 3, quite a good throw here again, and you can see a lot of the components are there, which we are expecting by going through that a lot of them are here. And he's even got a bit more of the follow through, not quite as much, but it's getting there. This is grade 3 again. Yeah, he's grade 3, but not as, like, doesn't play as much sport as the other kids. So you see how you keep your comparison between 2 grade 3 boys there. And again, no follow through, just does the throw, steps back. This one's a grade 4. Who's checking the cameras on? And again, not as much, like there's a bit of it, there's a few of the skills there, but again, see how the follow through, the arm is up there, he's actually leaning back rather than forward. This is a grade 4 boy again. So there's a lot of differences that you'll see in your kids at different levels. But again, when you're looking at where they are in the level and what you're expecting, but this just was a really good way of just looking at how they go. This is a grade 5 boy, not very sporty. And again, you can see not as fluent as the boy in grade 3 who's really sporty. But there's some components of it there. There is a bit of a follow through, but there's not the weight transference as such. And then this is a grade 6 boy who's not too bad. This one's actually not too bad. But he's not a really sporty kid himself. But see how he's got that across the arm thing. So you can see just basically how your throw is going to change from prep right up to grade 6. And so that's when Andy was saying about those, on his grade 2 thing, like what they're going to be expected to do. So if they've just got a couple of those components where they're looking forward and they're actually taking over, and they might step forward. That's might be all you expect at grade 2, but if they're only doing that at grade 6, then obviously they haven't achieved that particular skill.
And this is what, Anne and I missed the boat this year. We missed it probably by about 2 weeks. But what we want to do is try and apply for some TPL leave with 40 days. And what we want to essentially do is try and use those days to videotape as many scenarios as we can right through those fundamental motor skills to then produce a document which shows what the kids look like at each level in this instance. Okay, what does below level look like? Okay, yes, it says that, but now let's see what we recommend that it looks like. So then what we're trying to do essentially is make things super easy across the board. And that, when we tie into assessment later on, if a child walks out of your school and has a conversation with a parent from my school, and the parent says, yeah, I got a 5 for overhand throw, or my child got a 6 for overhand throw, the parents know what that means. If we're saying to the kids, right, well done, and the kids are asking, what was my score, and we give them a 7, then they know what a 7 means. And that's this visible learning that is coming into play. It's giving the kids what we essentially haven't given them in the past, is that direct feedback. Okay, yes, 7 means that you're good, but you can extend your arm a little bit further and get things going. So that's our goal down the road. Yeah, it might be a long way down the road.
Is there any questions about any of that? Does everyone get what we're saying?
Will that be available as a mental dad?
Absolutely. Yeah, so all of my documents I'm going to put up on my website, the Mr. here at Weebly, download it. Yep. I had a conversation with a teacher that's just been appointed at Grovedale Primary School, and he's coming out of the classroom into PE. He wasn't able to be here today. And he said that exact same thing. My thoughts for the future of us is that, as I said at the start, we're one school, we're one collaborative source. My documents, I'm not making $0 off my documents because they're my documents. If you want them, I open up my Google Drive and you have it. Because the big thing is here is that if you've come out of a classroom into a PE and you've got no idea where to start, then the PE teachers that have been teaching for a long time need to be able to go, right, well, this is my Google Drive, what do you want? Open it up. Because there's mistakes we've made, and there's mistakes you're going to make, so trying to just bridge that gap so you get that top end stuff straight away, yeah.
In that, what you showed us a little bit, where it comes to activities,
Yep.
will it be available to add things like
Yeah, I'll put this up as a Word document.
Yeah.
So you were able to move things around, change your order, put it onto an Excel if you like. Our school's gone up into Google Drives, so everything, like all our plans have to be uploaded to Google Drives. But I'll have that as an unlocked Word doc, so you're able to take the template, and I'll put it in as the example, but I'll put it in as a blank too, so then you can use those blanks. The PDF that's on there, my Term 1 planner, if you download that as a PDF, it's hyperlinked, so if it comes to an activity that I found online, I've just hyperlinked it to that website. Yeah.
I'm not going to do our planning for you.
It's all going to be done
for you, just like that. It would have Term 1 planning, we'll do Term 2. Also, too, today when you're going to do these things, we're going to produce these.
Yeah.
So we're going to, this is going to be my contribution. Yeah. I'm going to type them up and we'll put all these things on. So this is getting your ideas, what works well for you, to include into these programs. So we'll be actually using the stuff that because we're going to make you work at the workshop today. But it's only, not going to do it for too long, but whatever we get, it'll be just a start. And again, some of the stuff, like when I did my sample one, I left a lot of stuff out, only because I just couldn't be bothered. It's like, oh God, But to give you the idea of how to get it started. Okay, so can I just, no, hang on, don't do that yet.
No, not yet.
Can you go back to highlight the junior one? Can I just go through this part and then Andrew take over from you? This is the other thing we put together as well, is I've looked at some So this is the prep and the 1-2. It's like, what are we including in our programs? So, and this is all the stuff that fits in with the VALS document. So, for example, the safety rules and all that sort of stuff. And then this just gives you some ideas of how to do it. And again, the rudimentary skills which I went through before, fundamental motor skills and how they come into these games, ball skills, running, keep going down here, please. Kicking, rope skipping, keep going, another page. Gymnastics, dance, advanced throwing and catching, a swimming program, group games, sports activities, development, play. I've just based that basically on the stuff that I do. And again, that's not set in concrete, that can come up and change. And then the same thing happens with the year twos. Sorry, can you go back to the other one, please? See, I'm just going to be He's too excited. And then with grade 1 and 2, same sort of thing, very similar in terms of, but you've obviously moving up with other stuff. You're doing more specialised, like when you're looking at their running, you're looking at, really getting to your arms, moving, that sort of stuff. But it doesn't really, this is only a really schematic, this is like an old PE program. Things like this that we discovered this year, Just Dance, like there's your dance program, put YouTube on and away you go.
Yeah, I learned about it.
Sidearm strike, advanced throwing and catching, and again, this is taken out of the FMS program as well. And then Andy did the 3 to 6 one and how we link it to the sport. So
Yeah, so with the middles, again, just try and put it all down on play. So it's important that we still recognise that in grade 3, 4, 5, 6, there is still an element of importance of being aware of what fundamental motor skills are, but all of a sudden they're a lot more complex and combined. So really just having that unit list for you again to be able to pick up your PE program and go, right, what am I going to do? Okay, let's have a look at this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Just using that jigsaw. I had someone talk to me a couple of weeks ago. They said, well, choosing what goes in your program is really like being at a casino with card shuffling, because you really, your 52 cards are going to be thrown out at you, but it's what's important to you. Your 52 activities that you essentially can use for the year, but let's look at what your facilities are like, what equipment you've got, and just work your cards to suit your program right through it. We kind of going a little bit over.
So just very quickly on
Yeah.
that, Andy. So hockey,
Yeah.
you can't put it in, or not can't put it in, but it's not your thing. Is it 1, not 2?
No, because the what's the skill that comes out of hockey? Two-hand strike. So you can actually use that, a different sport, to foster those skills that you're teaching. So it's not wrong to not teach it, because I mean gymnastics is one that I've avoided for numbers of years because I've never been comfortable teaching it.
Yeah.
But next year I'm going to re-include it in a modified way. So yeah, that's really important to recognise that
you've got to go with history.
you have to be comfortable teaching something.
Yeah.
And hockey players might work well at your school, but might not work well at another school, or might not have the equipment or the budget to go, I don't want to buy 30 sticks, it's going to cost me $1,000. So yeah, definitely. We're going to skip ahead a couple. I want us to have a quick little break. Now, I found this little fella walking around in my gym earlier last week. It's called a telegun, and it's a really cool, effective, it's a website that you can go to, and you can build these little characters that essentially will walk you through 30 seconds of conversation. He's going to talk to you a little bit about QR Code Amazing Race. At the same time, what I'm going to say is that once he finishes talking, we'll have a map, get into a group of 3 or 4. It's going to be a 10-minute little break that you'll be able to see our school. I can tell you that the little QR codes, which you're going to see in a minute, they are hidden around the buildings of the school because the Wi-Fi system doesn't go down to the other side. Has anyone not seen a QR code? The QR codes, what they've done, they're like a barcode, but instead of a barcode reads left to right, QR code reads left, right, up, down, diagonal, all other ways. So it feeds in they reckon it feeds in about 500% more information into a QR code. Really, really, really smart device or codes for PE. Certainly if you've moved to a school where you've got one-to-one iPads or stuff like that. You can use these codes really well in terms of kids moving around activities. You might have an iPad on the ground, or kids might be taking their own iPads on the ground. You can link these codes to YouTube, you can link these codes to a Telegram, you can link these codes to a demonstration or a document or anything you like. And as the kids scan the code, then they bring it up. They bring up whatever the message is. On your iPads, if you've got a smartphone and you've got a QR reader on it, you can use that today. But on the iPads, we've preloaded the QR code. If you, I think they're probably the last one. We're looking at that little device there, looks like a barcode. So again, you can use all of ours, or if you've already got one of yours and it's got 3G, 4G, you can use that as well. But essentially all you do, if you haven't used it before, is it'll bring it up. Oops, hit the word scan. Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Dan. You hold my feet. Okay, hang on, let me just see. Oh, yeah. So you've got to bring the code into range, and it brings up the information on there. Now that one, oh yeah, good. I thought it was bringing up the answers, so I wasn't going to show you. But it brings up the messages. So what you're essentially going to do around the school is you're going to find the codes as a group, you're going to scan, and then you're going to write the first letter of the answer on the 1 to 12, and then you'll be able to come back here and unscramble it. However, we better listen to the message first.
Welcome to Leopold Primary School. You're about to take on the QR Amazing Race course around our school. You'll find 12 hidden QR codes. Use your map to find the code. Scan the code and answer the question. Write the first letter of the answer on your sheet and then continue to the next numbered clue. You can complete the course in any order. Once you have all the clues, make your way back to the start and unscramble the word to find the answer.
You didn't say have a nice day.
Yeah, well, I ran out of time. I got 30 seconds. 30 seconds. All right. So, what we've got is actual tables. If you want to grab a group of 3, I reckon. Grab an iPad or an iPhone and come grab a map. Grab a pen.